PNC Arena for ACC basketball, presented by your local Ford dealer. Huge ACC matchup to begin your Saturday. The 28-8 Clemson Tigers, the 22-7 NC State Wolfpack. Good afternoon and welcome courtside, everybody. Evan Lepler with the former ACC Duke legend, Mike Jaminski. It's great to have you with us to start the college basketball Saturday. And here's the big picture story. Clemson needs this win for NCAA tournament considerations. They got to have it. NC State for the double bye in Greensboro, they'd like to have it too.
Well, there's a lot still at stake. Those first four are still way up in the air, but the chance for NC State really solidify things.
Well, over the past couple weeks, Jarkel Joyner has been as good as anyone in this conference. He is our hearty star to watch.
Well, I mean, he starts out with a triple-double up in Syracuse, and then against Carolina, 29 points. He scored 29 each of the last two games. He's been shooting the ball extremely well. He's very explosive.
He's been electric here at PNC in particular. Meanwhile, Clemson beat the Wolfpack back in December behind a career performance from Hunter Tyson. Tigers could use a similar effort today.
No question about it. And they found him out on the weak side. He runs the floor extremely well for a guy his size. Three-point capability for sure. Was very efficient at that game against NC State. Got to the free throw line. He's still in the running for Player of the Year honors.
Sure is, and he had a great performance on Wednesday against Syracuse to bounce back from the subpar game last Saturday at Louisville. Well, neither Clemson nor NC State has ever won 13 ACC regular season games before. One of them will get win number 13 of the year today. Tigers, Wolfpack, ACC basketball coming up. No pun intended. This place is packed. Tigers and Wolfpack. And the Toyota starting lineups presented by your local Toyota dealers. Brad Brownell's Tigers with Hunter Galloway Shefflin, who just got another offensive rebound. Feels like it anyway after what he did on Wednesday night with Hall as well. And no Jack Clark today for NC State. He's out. Kevin Keats did not seem overly concerned, Mike, but said still sore, not going to play today.
And I thought that was a big lift getting him back from injury. Unfortunately, he took a really hard spill on that shoulder. I think they're just going to be cautious with him, make sure that he's healthy going into the tournament. They're going to have a little bit of a break, too, going into the tournament.
Sure will. Regular season finale on Tuesday down the road in Durham. Tyson picks up where he left off at Little John in December.
Interesting with him, they went a little small, had Morcell on him defensively. Tyson just shot right over the top. Some guys just have a good vibe against certain teams.
You like these throwback state jerseys, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, senior day is always, it brings back a lot of great memories for me. I think a lot of guys over the years have missed out on, on that, but great day.
Jarkel Joyner honored before the game along with three other members of the Wolfpack. Three others have eligibility. Jarkel Joyner playing his last game at PNC Arena. P.J. Hall straight away, three. 5-zip Clemson.
And he'd been struggling a little bit over the last two. Had not been seeing a big basket from three, but he's expanded his game, and that is a terrific matchup inside, Evan, and outside with Hall and Burns.
Double team comes. Entry feed knocked away by P.J. Hall.
I will say, too, Burns probably the best passing big man out of a double team that I've seen.
Jarkel Joyner.
Best player in the league in the last couple of weeks for sure, Evan. Just 29 points his last two games and a good start here.
There's his 50th three-pointer of the season. Hall and Burns. PJ with a nifty fadeaway move.
Yeah, I'll say during the course of the season the teams get off to a sluggish start at noon, but both of these teams warmed up very well.
You say Jarkel's been the best player in the ACC.
Yeah.
If not for the injury, you think about P.J. Hall over the past month, he's been as good as anybody, too.
D.J. Burns has been scoring 18 points a game.
No good for Morcell in his first outside shot today. Here comes Chase Hunter. Tyson to the corner. Galloway sticks the three. And the Clemson Tigers are in front 10-3 early.
This is the thing. Brad Brownell was, talked about, we don't really want to control the pace, but we want to try to get up, selectively run, get some early shots in the shot clock.
Terquavion Smith. He's 0 for 2. Tigers, meanwhile, 4 for 4. 2 for 2 from deep. And looking to add to the lead. PJ. Mismatch with Morcell. Kicks it to Hunter, wide open. And the first Clemson miss.
Had a good look. You talked about the mismatch. There was a double team, and Hunter was wide open.
Knew it was only a matter of time before Ian Shefflin got his hands on another offensive rebound. Tie-up goes to NC State, but Shefflin gave the Tigers such a jolt of energy early in that game. Think about the first possession against the Orange. They got 4 chances, missed 3 shots, finally hit a 3, and it was the story of the night against the Orange.
Well, the thing for him, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He's a terrific passing frontline player. Doesn't turn the ball over either.
Smith to Morcell. Bang!
Casey Morcell wants to, although the crowd was chanting 1 more year when he came out for his senior award. But he's a huge part. When he's knocking down threes, it's a big weapon. Speaking of knocking down threes.
Chase Hunter has 6 points. 2 triples for Chase in the game's first 4 minutes.
Last 3, 7 of 14 from behind the arc.
Joyner off the front rim. Rebound tipped by Burns, controlled by Hunter. Oh, look, Clemson hit shots early against Syracuse. And they're hitting shots early again today in Raleigh. Technical foul on Kevin Keats to add to the possible 4-point play for Brevin Galloway.
And they're going to, usually you make your point with the technical. Kevin Keats still jawing at the referee. And he's having to be assisted back to the bench. Here's the look. Clemson is just on fire. Now, Terquavion Smith is trying to calm his coach down. This is getting pretty close to a second technical, which I haven't seen in a long time, Evan.
Especially 4 minutes into the ballgame.
Yeah. Tyson will be able to build on this lead a little bit.
Wow.
Just an exceptional start for the Tigers. This team hit a little rut. They were the class of the league in the first 10 games of the season.
No question. Jeff Anderson, Jeb Hartness, Lamar Simpson. 3 officials presiding this afternoon. Tyson knocks down the 2. Now Hunter already hit a 3. And now, I beg your pardon, it was Galloway who hit the 3. And now Galloway has a chance to make this a 6-point play. 19-6. Nine straight for the Tigers.
Well, you were asking, and you thought how this game was officiated was going to play a big role in this game, especially with a guy like DJ Burns inside.
Yeah.
Let's see how the whistle goes after that technical.
I thought really the key was Burns and Hall, whichever one could not get in foul trouble. Shot clock winding down. Smith beats the buzzer.
Right, and they found that it was a great swing. Clemson is coming with a late double team on Burns. They're coming big. NC State did a nice job of playing out of the double team and getting a look at the 3.
Second straight game that the Wolfpack had to deal with their opponent making shots early as they get the reach-in foul on the Wolfpack. Think about it, on Wednesday, Wake Forest started 10 of 11. Right now, the Tigers are 6 of 7, and the visitors from South Carolina with an early 10-point lead.
Clemson with a 19-9 advantage early on, and they've built it from behind the three-point line. 4 of 5 in the game so far. 3 different guys have hit threes, and against Syracuse, half of their field goal attempts were threes, but against that zone it makes sense. But they're getting pretty good looks against State's man-to-man.
Brevin Galloway's losing count. Been so hot early. Tigers 4 for 5 from beyond the arc overall. Of course, they got 28 assists on Wednesday against the Orange. The most assists in an ACC game since 1987.
I'll say, you watch Clemson in their pregame warm-up, they work on passing more than any team that I've ever seen. And it certainly shows up in how they protect the ball. Both of these teams do a great job of taking care of the ball.
Reaching foul before the break was on NC State's Greg Gant. First play off the bench for R.J. Godfrey. He lost it, but then the Tigers recover inside, and P.J. Hall now has 7 first-half points.
P.J. Hall, he's just playing a different level. Really was slowed by injury early on in the season.
In rhythm, Terquavion Smith halfway down, but popped out.
And I think he settles for long threes too easy, especially in this game. You want to try to get something going to the rim.
Like this. No foul. No points.
Right, that's a big thing for Burns too. He's had trouble staying on the floor with foul trouble.
There's what you want to see from T.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not seeing a big basket get to the rim. For a guy like him, he does not get to the free throw line that much. And NC State lost that battle against Clemson in the first game.
Last 6 games in particular, only 9 total free throws for Smith. Averaged about 5 free throw attempts per game before that. Hall misses the free throw jumper, and here comes Joyner. The Ole Miss transfer. Electric speed sets up Burns. Foul's going on Clemson. They got Galloway on the block out. Before we go too much further, let's get you a look at our forward keys to the game. What you got today, G-Man?
Well, Brand Brownell talked about they really want to dominate the paint, outscore NC State. Their State 2 and 5 when they're outscored inside. And for the Wolfpack score in transition, they did not have a fast break point in the loss down at Little John.
Season low in the fast break department for one of the best pace teams in the ACC. DJ Burns for 2.
Right, he's so good on that right block when he can come to his left hand in the lane. It's just, you're not going to block that shot. He keeps you off balance with that body contact.
Hall fakes it, takes it, makes it.
And see, he's making Burns pay on that matchup down the other end. Hall trying to force him outside. And the more shots he makes out there, Burns is going to have to commit to guarding him.
P.J. Hall in double figures already. 14th time in the last 15 games. In and out for Joyner from the corner.
Well, I tell you what, we've seen some explosive backcourts all around the conference this year. There have been some terrific matchups. But Smith and Joyner right up there at the top.
Hall just working DJ Burns at this end of the floor.
Inside and outside. He's also got the quickness advantage. He faced up that time. That puts a lot of pressure on the defender.
26 points in 7.5 minutes for Clemson on the road here at NC State. Now, Wake had a big first half on Wednesday, too, and the Wolfpack still won relatively comfortably, 90-74, when the final buzzer blew.
Braden Smith got a little antsy that time. Can be a very high-volume shooter to get his numbers. 2 of 6 to start the game.
Galloway, zips it inside, tough catch, and Godfrey finishes at the rim. Timeout, NC State. Largest lead yet for the Clemson Tigers. PJ has got a dozen in the first 8 minutes. Tigers in control. ACC basketball is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by CPI Security. CPI Home Security that protects what matters most. Wednesday night was incredibly special here at PNC Arena as the 1983 national champions were honored here in Raleigh. The Valvano legend continues to grow. It was an incredible night.
And just an incredible run that started in the ACC tournament that they had when to get into the tournament. And then that whole run, and then Houston was such a prohibitive favorite to win that game. And it had to be in the 50s, and it was, and just an incredible last sequence.
Think about that run. They beat Ralph Sampson twice. They beat, obviously, Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, all the great players that Sidney Lowe and Derek Wittenberg, Thurl Bailey, Lorenzo Charles, Terry Gannon, Cozell McQueen, who's sitting right behind us here today. How did we get a better seat than him?
Well, they gave us microphones. So.
Terquavion Smith off the glass, no good. Battling in the traffic, still loose. Dylan Hunter got both hands on the ball first, and he got it to Godfrey. Here comes Clemson with numbers.
I'll tell you, Clemson right now running their offense to perfection, getting just about anything they want. That was the first sloppy play they've had.
Right on cue, G-Man, and they take it right back. Galloway picks the pocket.
Down this end, that was first turnover of the game for Clemson, and NC State turns you over more than anybody in the league.
Oh, my goodness. Brevin Galloway. He's 3 for 3 from deep. He's got 10 in the game, and it's a 10-0 run. 31-13. Are you kidding me? DJ Burns, a chance to carve into the deficit, going on the line.
And actually, Clemson has changed the way they're guarding him. They're not sending a double team, especially on that side. Good recognition. We saw that we thought we'd see Middlebrooks a lot in this game. It's 5 extra fouls and a big body they can put out there, but Burns in that isolation is really tough. But Clemson.
Middlebrooks picks up his first. DJ Burns fouled out. Struggled just 19 minutes in that first game. He was called for a couple charges in that game. He's been called for 4 charges in NC State's 18 ACC games. 2 of them were that day at Littlejohn.
But he's in much better shape at this point in the season.
Second Tigers turnover. There's Jack Clark, who was injured back in December against Clemson, and then had the scary fall off the rim against Wake Forest the second half on Wednesday.
But he came back and really didn't miss a beat. And just for NC State, I hope he gets healthy and gets ready for the ACC tournament, because he's going to give this team a big lift.
He's a good player. He could swing a game in March.
Big, good on the glass, score the basketball.
Joyner thought about it for a while. Comes up short, rebounded by Middlebrooks, who had 10.7 rebounds in the game against NC State late December. Galloway to Middlebrooks. Foul is going on Ernest Ross.
Talk about guys who gave, and Middlebrooks, a nice contribution in the first game, Evan. Only 18 minutes on the floor, but 10 points for him in that game, 7 rebounds.
You look at his last 5 games, Mike. His last 5 games for Clemson, he's got 17 points, 15 rebounds, 16 fouls.
And that's in 50 minutes.
He's using those fouls.
Well, he would have fouled out 3 times in one game. But hey, and that's his role.
Yes.
He doesn't want to go to the bench with 4 fouls remaining.
Part of this Clemson's team, Clemson's personality, the grit, the pride with which they play. 33-15 after the Middlebrooks 2 at the line. Tigers 11 of 15 from the floor, 6 of 7 from 3. They're out rebounding NC State 12-3.
And I think really good balance in their shot selection too, inside and outside. Braden Smith, and keep him in the half court. It's what you want, and misses 2 shots in that possession.
The first offensive rebound of the game for the Wolfpack, but the NC State long-range shots not falling right now. Packer 3 of 10 from beyond the arc. Which isn't terrible, but when the other team's 6 for 7. Beadle into traffic, finds Godfrey. Shot clock winding down. 4 to shoot. Galloway takes it. Here comes Smith.
That was late recognition of the shot clock.
Casey Morcell. And a foul in the rebound action. It's going on Galloway. That'll be number 1 on Brevin. Third team foul on the Tigers. Shefflin and Chase Hunter coming back in.
Clemson's line, they're on pace for about 130 points right now.
I don't think they're going to get there, but it would sure be fun if they did.
And this, you know, they can put points up on the board for sure, but they are a more explosive team in Littlejohn than they have been on the road.
We heard Brad Brownell talking about how hard NC State is to play against defensively. Beadle went down, and Clemson gets a stop anyway. Dylan Hunter diving on the floor for the loose ball.
Not a lot of offense inside now with Burns out of the game. Clemson can really lock in on the perimeter players.
That ball just pinging around, much like it was on Wednesday against Syracuse. Missed 3, but last touched out of bounds off NC State.
Yeah, but as a, you know, different, they're still getting a ton of threes, but you know, against that Syracuse zone, they got some nice looks out on the perimeter, especially Chase Hunter. He's 6 of 12 in the game.
Tigers never trailed on Wednesday, led by as many as 25. Hunter Tyson right back to work off the bench.
Yeah, Hunter Tyson, just too easy that time. That was underneath out of bounds. One pass to a relatively open jump shot.
Big of a lead as the Tigers have had yet. Jarkel Joyner with his second field goal now gets it back to a 17-point game.
But you know what, Evan, so far in this game, everything has been in the half court for NC State. They've gotten nothing out in the run.
Discrepancy right now between the stadium scoreboard and the official stat broadcast, whether it's 34-17 or 35-17. Oh, Greg Gant slams it in.
Greg Grant's season has been so impressive to me. 10 DNPs early in the year, and has started the last 14 games. Kept himself ready because of injury. Mahorchich and Clark both out. That opened up time for him.
Yeah, he's been a great piece, but what about P.J. Hall? 14 now for P.J. here in the half. Wolfpack can't answer. Shefflin grabs his first rebound of the day. Beadle bursting down the floor. No whistle. Wolfpack the other way. Joyner pulls up, puts it in. The big swing right there, Mike.
Yeah, and no foul called on the other end, and NC State turns them into points, but Brad Brownell wants a little timeout right now.
Well, NC State have trailed by as many as 19, but big plays like this from Greg Gant helping to bring the Wolfpack back. I got to figure out a way to slow down P.J. Hall.
Clemson holding on to a 12-point lead. P.J. Hall having an outstanding game already in this half. Having 14 points, 6 of 8 shooting. He's hit a couple of threes as well, playing inside and outside. When he's knocking down threes, he is a very tough cover.
Tigers leading scorer in ACC play at 17.5 points per game. He's had at least 9 in every game since scoring just 4 against NC State on December 30th. These are Z-Max max performance. 6 of 8 from the floor. They finally did get this scoring discrepancy sorted out. It is 37-22, so you said 12-point game. It's a 15-point lead for the Tigers.
And
yet it feels like NC State has the momentum.
For P.J. Hall, by averaging over 20 points a game in his last 5. So he's rounding into shape at a good time for them. I can't overstate what Shefflin has meant to this group as well, too, and how he plays his role. A good passer, really lets whatever offense he gets come to him.
When he plays well, the team plays well.
And interesting, too, NC State is really committed.
Wow, another foul and a 3.
Yeah, and
Kevin Keats' facial expression tells you how he feels.
He had to turn around that time, and of course he got that early technical, but you see right here, and this is a guy, you see the touch right there. You just have to go up and challenge the shot, not bail Galloway out.
Number 2 on Terquavion Smith, both on Clemson 3-pointers.
Here's a guy in Galloway shooting 30% from 3, but 85% from the line. So it's really a gift putting him there. I was talking about how NC State is defending Tyson. They're going small on him. They really want to take away his outside game. What's going to be left for him are some post-up opportunities.
3 more at the line for Galloway, the elder statesman of the current ACC. 25 years old, one of 9 players across Division I basketball start of the season. At least 25. They'll celebrate a win by going to rent a car.
Well, and Terquavion Smith trying to find some rhythm, but he's doing it from way beyond the 3-point line, not having some success. 2 of 10 now.
Hunter Tyson, well contested on the 3 by Thomas. Joyner has a couple buckets, as does DJ Burns. They didn't really feel like they've gotten Burns going yet.
But, the guy who normally it'd be Smith to get you going, but I think for the way that Joyner's been playing, he's the one that's going to have to be the catalyst.
Burns now 2 for 4. Shefflin gives it to Hunter. Over to Galloway. Terquavion Smith playing with the 2 fouls, and Galloway just bolted right past him. Kevin Keats wants another timeout. 20-point lead for Clemson. Galloway's got 15. P.J. Hall's got 14. Those 2 combined outscoring the Wolfpack by 7.
No help behind defensively. Greg Gant took a wave at the ball, but that was an easy straight line drive in the half court.
This feels a little bit like what NC State did to Duke on this court, but obviously the other way around.
And that game was very much a catalyst for NC State to this point in the season. Right. They were 1-3. We talked to Kevin Keats before the game. They were 1-3 going into that game. Had already lost at home to Pitt, and he phrased that as a must-win early in the year.
Well, you remember that game against Pittsburgh. No one at that time knew exactly what Jeff Capel's team was going to be. 5:52 left in the first half. When we get to the Toyota halftime report, we'll break down the entire ACC tournament bye situation. We'll hear from Kevin Keats. First half highlights and stats on a huge day of ACC basketball. All 4 of the Big 4 are at home today.
Yeah, and that the bottom 6 is pretty much decided for the tournament. And there's Burns and what he does. And that when he's on that side of the floor more times than not, he's going to turn back to the baseline.
This is getting a little testy. Another technical foul or 2.
Yeah, it might have been. They might have called offsetting technicals that time. Evan, I've seen more technical fouls this year, especially against players, than I can remember in recent memory. You see, no double team. Burns is a load down there, turning inside. P.J. Hall, not much he could do.
Really, Gant and Tyson who were chirping back and forth. And then DJ's like, let me be a peacekeeper.
I was watching that last time out that Kevin Keats called. Burns was really upset and animated in that, trying to get his team offsetting technicals that time. So no free throws as a result.
The thing is, it's a personal foul on Hunter Tyson and a personal foul on Greg Gant.
Yep.
That's 2 on Gant, 1 on Tyson. DJ over the last 8 games, nearly 19 points per game. has had lead in the ACC in field goal percentage in conference play.
His thing is just staying on the floor, staying out of foul trouble. He's gotten in better shape as the season's gone along. He's a terrific passer. I'd like to see his rebounding numbers a little bit better than they are. But offensively, he is really solid.
Middlebrooks picked up the personal foul before the double technicals. So Middlebrooks now with 2. He's back on the bench. Tough shot. Hunter can't finish. Here comes State. Casey Morsell traveled before the shot.
And again, I mean, that was an opportunity for State to get something out on the floor on the run. Morsell decided to rise up for the 3, but didn't have his feet set.
Godfrey back into the game. Watch Hunter landing awkwardly here.
Well, and there was contact too when he was coming down. Not a foul, but it caused him to land awkwardly. He looks okay though.
Sure does, although he turns it over. Ross intercepts the kickout pass. Joyner 3 for 5 from the floor. Burns also 3 of 5 so far. Trying to back down Hall. Lefty fadeaway. Rebounded for P.J. Hall.
So when he goes to that left-handed hook on that side of the floor, it's to the baseline, and it's usually farther out than when he's working on the other side into the lane.
How much tougher of a shot is that?
Very tough. You know, you've got to be almost perfect.
Great hustle by Casey Morsell. Shot clock didn't reset. Clemson has it with 4. Chase Hunter. Nope. Burns has the rebound.
A little chance for NC State here to claw their way back in. Clemson's gone cold from the floor.
And it feels like we're just kind of waiting for the Wolfpack to hit a big shot and re-energize this capacity crowd. 4 minutes left in the half. Joyner puts it up. Can't connect. Ross on the glass for NC State. Back outside. Burns has not made a 3 in his college career. Passes up the attempt.
P.J. Hall made him catch way off the lane. And
offensive foul. The 3rd charge that Burns has been called against the Tigers for this year.
And what happened there, the reason that happens, Hall pushed him out. He received way outside the lane. He had to take extra dribbles to get inside. Well, here it is, Evan, and you can see it right there. And the little push up with the left hand, easy call.
Fans don't like it. ACC basketball is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Get access to the care you need with coverage in all 100 counties. And by Coyote Tractor, we dig dirt.
And there you see, Evan, the regular season trophy that was awarded to the 1990 Clemson Tigers, Cliff Ellis's team. And that was the only time that trophy was awarded. And that was actually championed by Coach Dean Smith, who thought the regular season winner should get some sort of accolade. Right. That was the only time it was awarded.
Well, February 28th of that year, they beat number 2 Duke to seal first place. It's the only time in 69 years in the ACC that Clemson has finished first. And look, they are just a game out of first place in the loss column right now, behind Miami, Virginia, and Pitt.
Miami, sir, they've got their destiny in their own hands. They're undefeated at home. They've got 2 home games left.
Whistle. It was before the shot. Well, Miami 14-4.
Still a lot there to be decided, especially with Duke. North Carolina has got a huge game tonight against Virginia coming up.
They won on Wednesday in South Bend, but they didn't look great doing it. How about Clemson and NC State picked 10th and 11th in the preseason poll. They sit here 4th and 5th late February.
Well, I really don't have much use for those preseason polls. And, who had Pitt up in that top 4 before the season? I'll answer that question. Nobody.
No one. I'm clinging to my pride of taking Miami #1.
Yep. It's just Jim Larinaga done an outstanding job. Had a couple of lean years, but they've bounced back in a big way the last 2.
Yeah, they're good. Deep, different.
Excellent. One of the better backcourts. I really think that Clemson now, it looks like they're going to live with Burns playing 2-point basketball. They're going to stay at home at everybody else, and they're going to let P.J. Hall just kind of operate one-on-one down there.
Well, the Pack aren't shooting the ball great today. 28.6% from 3. Hunter Tyson finds his spot and rattles in the 3.
Well, you talk to the Clemson people, and I've watched Hunter Tyson. He doesn't create his own shot really well, but that was nice use of the pump fake. And referees had enough with this. P.J. Hall is going to get the foul. Here's the look. You got to stay down. They're guarding him small. There's no way Morcell's going to block that shot, but he went flying by, and that gave Tyson a great look.
Look, when Clemson's been good this year, they just look so in control and so purposeful at the offensive end. And you think back to last Saturday, sorry to Clemson fans for bringing it up. But, Brad Brownell says that they looked a little panicky on offense at times when things weren't going well.
Well, and hey, to get things turned around right now at this time, going into the last week.
Fans want more of this matchup. DJ over PJ.
Like I said, he's going to score, but and he had a big game at Wake Forest, had 31 points in that ball game.
He was unstoppable. And he had a few big assists when the Deeks did double down on him at the Joel.
But, I don't think that Brad Barnell will change defensively.
Brendan Galloway knocks down the 8th 3 of the half for the Clemson Tigers.
When they're knocking down threes on that end, they're going to live with Burns on the other end. And until they cut into the lead, they'll keep this same defense, I'm sure.
Back to the matchup. Not this time for Burns as Hall gets the rebound. Brevin Galloway, Mike, has 20 points on 6 field goal attempts.
And it's straight line drives, although a really nice man-on-man defensive play by Thomas.
Now, Dylan Hunter committed the foul after it was stolen away. So,
I'll tell you what,
older brother comes in to get him.
This is one of the better games offensively on the road that I've seen this year. And then let's not take away also from Clemson's defense. Holding the Wolfpack to 29 points right now.
I'm racking my brain to think about other great scoring performances. I mean, Wake Forest is pretty good in the first half here on Wednesday. Didn't last. Missed the front end of the 1-and-1, and Clemson has it back. I think back to December, NC State lost down at Miami. Didn't you have that game? They were great in the first half, too.
Yeah, and it's, again, backcourts going at one another.
Yes, indeed. Poked away by Thomas from behind. Well, as a big man, how have you felt about the historic trope that guards win in March?
Well, as a big man, when I played, there were other big men, and the game was completely different. Now with the three-point line, of course, there was no three-point shot back then. So there's a whole different dynamic and mindset to offenses.
P.J. Hall does it again, looking right into the student section that was heckling him starting at 11 a.m.
Well, you were asking about old-fashioned basketball. We just saw it right there. Throw it into the post, pump fake, little jump hook, old-fashioned three-point play. They've had a couple of instances, Evan, where the first pass in and underneath out of bounds has resulted in a basket.
First missed free throw for Clemson, although, was it a lane violation? Officials are going to converse. For the moment, Clemson's 10 of 11 from the line.
I think it was an inadvertent whistle.
Mike, I pulled up to PNC Arena this morning around 9:45 a.m. There were already several hundred fans lined up at the gates more than 2 hours before the game. And then when the students were led in the building around 11 a.m., they were charging in, heckling the Tigers, trying to get in their heads. I say Clemson has weathered the storm.
Well, but also, too, to your point, I mean, NC State has earned the support of their fan base this year. Having a terrific season.
Yeah, and don't make any mistake. I admire the passion of these Wolfpack fans.
The only home game they lost was that game to Pitt, right out of the chute in the ACC regular season, early December.
15-1 at home this year. They've won 8 straight ACC home games, and yet they're down by 23 against the Clemson Tigers, who somehow lost at the Yum Center last Saturday. Still hard to believe. That's college basketball for you. Clock winding down. Beadle puts it in. 54 in the half for the Tigers. Joyner to beat the buzzer. No, sir. And the highest scoring first half of the season for Clemson comes on the road at a sold-out PNC Arena in Raleigh.
That is as dominant a halftime as I've seen by a team. I mean, Clemson was just running at will and then breaking guys down off the dribble. Beadle had a very first game, a great game in their first matchup. 5 points there, but everybody who's come in for Clemson has had a contribution.
Coming up next, our Toyota halftime report. NC State finds himself down 25 at the half. We welcome you to today's Toyota halftime report with the Clemson Tigers. That's no misprint, folks. 54-29. Leading NC State. We welcome you back courtside. This was an energized arena less than an hour ago, Mike Jaminski, and the Clemson Tigers were almost perfect.
And it started right from the beginning. They took the crowd out of this game in the first 6-7 minutes of the ball game and had an extraordinary half. No points off turnovers for the Wolfpack to this point. Really almost a flawless first half for Clemson.
Most points the Tigers have scored in a half all year. Most points the Wolfpack have allowed in a half all year. And you think that's 100 points that the Wolfpack have allowed at home in the first half this week against Wake and Clemson. Lot to play for down the stretch, Mike. We always focus on the top 4, the double byes, that free advance to the quarterfinals. What else are you looking at? Maybe that trio of teams at 9 and 8?
Yeah, and you're looking at there to see, who stays and who doesn't have to. I think, like I said, Tuesday's set, but the seeding, North Carolina, just for NCAA tournament implications, I think has to win out, and then a couple of games in the ACC tournament. Be curious to see how that first 4 fleshes out as things go along. Clemson looks like they're peaking at the right time, and maybe Jeff Capel, early Coach of the Year candidate.
And look, Virginia has a lot to play for in Chapel Hill tonight, coming off their surprising result in Chestnut Hill, where they came out flat on Wednesday.
It's funny, and you looked at the teams, the what if BC. I mean, if Quentin Post had been healthy right from the start of the year, they might be an NCAA tournament team. It's been a tough year for them and a very proud program, but he'll get things turned around.
You would think. The question today, can the Wolfpack get things turned around?
This is Driven. Kevin Keats. Presented by your local Toyota dealers.
Just having the opportunity to work with young kids and help make a difference in their life. And, this is, being a college basketball coach is rewarding. Everybody talks about the wins and everything else and the championships that you can win. But, I also want those guys to be able to win off the court. So being a mentor to those guys to where they can be better fathers and husbands and be successful in life. Commitment, dedication, accountability, relentless, guys who play hard, and guys who are about the team. I think if you can get those ingredients together, I think you could have a successful year. The passion that our fan base have is second to none. We've got tremendous facilities. We've got, support all the way across the board. Our sports are starting to compete at a high level all the way around. Raleigh is a beautiful city to live in. And it's a great place to be able to go to school, to get an education, and play great, basketball.
Driven, Kevin Keats is presented by your local Toyota dealers. The all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to our Toyota halftime report here at PNC Arena in Raleigh with Clemson in charge, 54-29. Great to have you with us courtside. Evan Lepler, Mike Jaminski, scintillating first 20 minutes for the Clemson Tigers. I don't know which stat you want to pick, but no matter which one you choose, it looks pretty good for the Tigers.
Well, for NC State, they really struggled. They took good care of the basketball. They just didn't see a big basket. Now, Joyner only took 6 shots. He may be a lot more aggressive in the second half. And DJ Burns, they let him operate a lot without the double team. He was productive, 11 points for him in the post, doing his thing inside. But for Clemson, wow, Brevin Galloway was terrific. 20 points in that first half. Only 6 shots, 4 of 5 from 3. Perfect from the free throw line. And then inside and outside, P.J. Hall has also had a terrific half. 16 points for him, 7 of 9. How efficient those guys have been in their scoring. The direct side to inside. That's indicative of how the whole half went for Clemson.
Galloway and Hall, a combined 12 of 15, 36 points between the two of them. 7 points off turnovers for Clemson, and NC State over the course of the year makes its money on forcing turnovers, creating offense from their defense. Clemson hasn't let them do that. That
led to their loss in the first game in this series. It's interesting to see if NC State extends their defense and he tries to pressure up the floor.
It's good to see some fans are still having fun. Our principal worth a watch leading scores.
And one thing we haven't talked about, Terquavion Smith is really struggling in this game. He needs to come alive for this team to have a chance. 2 of 11, 1 of 6 from 3, has not gotten to the free throw line.
Terquavion Smith has not shot better than 50% in a game since January 17th. 25-point lead on our Toyota halftime report. Second half about to begin here in Raleigh, North Carolina, with Clemson leading 54-29. Fresh Market presents Discover the Best. Galloway averaging 11 per game, has 20 in 20 today.
Season high before this, 17 against Duke. He's had a game already in the first 20 minutes, Evan.
Mike, who do you think's more likely to get to 30? Galloway, who's got 20 now, or Hall, who's got 16?
I may go Hall, and this is what Clemson starting off with the miscue.
And Gant unable to capitalize initially, fights to get it back, surrounded by Tigers, and he lost the ball.
Even with that turnover, and it was out front that NC State has not been able to capitalize on in this game. And we talked about it halftime. NC State trying to pressure the ball up the floor a little bit, get Clemson out of some rhythm in the half court.
P.J. Hall comfortable to take it himself. Backing down Burns with a left hand off the glass.
Wow, how about he gave DJ Burns a left hand back at him from the same side of the floor. Really nothing happened on that play other than giving him the ball and letting him go to work.
Burns-esque. DJ passed over 1,500 points in his career earlier today. PJ's closing in on 1,000. Meanwhile, Burns is turned with a left hand. 13 for DJ. It was fun watching DJ Burns walk out of the tunnel when the fans were in the building. I don't use this word lightly. He strutted onto the court with getting the fan support. Shefflin, somehow gets it to go.
Like I said, offense from him is a bonus, but it's just 2 clearouts that Clemson has had in the first 2 possessions.
This is like the All-Star game. Tatum and Brown going one-on-one. It's a blocking foul this time on Hall. PJ's got a grin on his face.
P.J. Hall trying to buy another offensive foul right there. There you see right there, they're going to let Hall do his thing, and that was a terrific move with his offhand. This is a little throwback basketball here, throwing the ball into the post, and then Ian Shefflin. Talked about him, he's been such a big part, great passer.
This is what basketball looks like when you don't double team, don't switch.
Well, that's a big transaction to get P.J. Hall out of the game right now.
Just his second foul. Middlebrooks had 2 in the first half. He's gone Burns now.
Yeah, but as much as they've been going to Burns, he wanted to give P.J. Hall a rest. Middlebrooks is going to get called for the hands on the back. But that's fine. I mean, Middlebrooks has got fouls to burn out there. It's going to give him some time for P.J. Hall on the bench.
He's running out of those fouls to burn, Mike. He's got 3 personals and 5 minutes of game time.
2 left, brother.
2 left. Can you make it real simple for me? I mean, what's the key for NC State getting back into this game?
They got to get out. They got to score off of turnovers in transition. I mean, they've shown in this game they will let Burns do that in the half court. They want to keep Terquavian Smith under control and try to limit Joyner as well.
Galloway fouled by Smith.
I think that's the 3rd personal foul on Terquavian.
Yeah. 2 in the first half for on 3-point shooters.
And you know, and Galloway, that's a smart thing. Hey, just go right at him. He's been able to get to the rim off the bounce.
I'll tell you, as good as Terquavion Smith has been at times, and I don't think there's any doubt he's in a little bit of a rut right now, NC State has played some really good basketball this year at times when Smith has been on the bench with foul trouble.
Well, and, having Joyner out there really, and, Morcell has been able to step up in that situation. But, for Smith, again, he has to maybe worry about the offensive foul, but he needs to attack the basket now. He's not seeing a big rim from the outside.
27-point lead for Clemson. DJ Burns has scored the last 11 points for the NC State Wolfpack. Jarkel Joyner.
No ball movement, no player movement that time. Just a really disjointed possession. 1 shot and done.
Vanstein, Middlebrooks dragged the pivot foot. Galloway gets to the spot again and scores. 24 points for Brevin Galloway. His season high was 17 against Duke. He's closing in on his career high, which he had as a member of college at Charleston 2.5 years ago.
And that's the thing, again, for NC State to stop the clock, get to the free throw line, but they've had no answer for Galloway defensively.
4th foul on Middlebrooks. Told you he's running out.
Well, and the thing too, with Smith with the 3 fouls, now they're it's going to put pressure on Joyner to try to defend Galloway. So they're going to go at him, but this is the way for at least the foreseeable future. NC State needs to score at the free throw line. You see the numbers that Jarkel Joyner had in the first game against Clemson, 2 of 11. That's the thing. He hasn't really gotten into this game. He's only got 7 field goal attempts so far.
NC State has not attempted a 3 the first 3 minutes of the second half, but they'll get the ball back here. It's the 6th Tiger turnover.
Offensive foul on that play on Galloway.
Number 2 on Brevin.
There's 17 minutes to go. The crowd a little uneasy right now, though, Evan.
Down 27
on
Senior Day. And they've won 8 straight ACC home games.
And it's going to be very tough for them to get back in this game in the half court, although that helps.
Yeah, it does. Another chance for a 3-point play for DJ Burns.
Well, now this is the third guy they've thrown at Burns. They've got Shefflin now guarding him, and just so we talked about it, so tough. And I don't know if things will change in going down and double teaming him and trying to keep him calmed down.
Wolfpack haven't had many free throw attempts, but they've missed half of their 6 tries. A lot of dribbling here from Chase Hunter. Working on Jarkel Joyner. Number 1 versus number 1. And Hunter banks it in.
And I don't know that, that's not Clemson's game per se, but, I think with Galloway, you got to give him a little latitude this afternoon, Evan.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Burns outside for Joyner. Jarkel now 2 of 6 from deep. Out of bounds to Clemson. And we'll get ourselves a timeout. It's a 25-point lead at the half. Tigers stretched out to 29. It's now 27. ACC basketball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By the Fresh Market, voted #1 best supermarket in America. And by Z-Max Micro Lubricant. Extend engine life, increase fuel mileage. Available at Walmart. When you've got a bunch of statues, you've got a bunch of history. And they've certainly got plenty of fantastic memories at NC State. Today, through the first 24 minutes, not shaping up to be one of them, Mike.
No, and the one Syracuse Pitt is a big game, especially for the Panthers, and I'll see Syracuse a couple times next week. But boy, after that 1-3 start for Pitt, it looked like a long season. But Jeff Capel got things turned around.
Yes, he did. They are right in the mix with Miami and Virginia at the top of the league. Entering today, Pitt's the 2 seed. They've got the tiebreaker courtesy of their win against Virginia early in the season.
Now, this is the first real full court pressure that NC State has put on, or the chance to try to steal the ball, shorten the shot clock.
Pretty cool day of hoops on Tobacco Road tonight. Carolina plays in Chapel Hill at 6. Wake plays in Winston at 7. Duke plays at Cameron at 8. Chase Hunter will get 2 more free throws here for the Tigers. Clemson sitting at 12-5, trying to get to 13-5 today. They've got Virginia and Notre Dame in the final week of their regular season. Foul was called on DJ Burns, his 2nd. So 2 on DJ as we pause for this message from Coyote Tractor.
In my experience, if you work the land, you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to have a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of get-go.
It's funny. I've talked about Hunter Tyson and being right in there with Player of the Year honors, and he has been almost an afterthought today. He does have 7 rebounds, but 9 points. Hasn't taken many shots.
Big 3-pointer for Casey Morsell.
Yeah, he and Smith coming alive are going to be key to get back into this game.
They're going to need to make some threes. They've got 5 of them already. That's the first here in the second half.
For Clemson, they just have to lock in from behind the arc and limit those shots. They'll take 2-point baskets.
Galloway, 24 points already. Sets up Chase Hunter. Bottoms.
Normally there might be a drop-off in shooting. At Clemson, it's perfect so far in this half.
They're 5 for 5. They began the first half 6 for 7. And before the shot, Shefflin picks up his 2nd. 9 of 15 from beyond the arc now, the Clemson Tigers.
Jarkel Joyner just a little late getting out in the hand right now. And that hot shooting contagious right up and down the lineup.
And look, they've won 12 ACC games already. That is a program record. They previously won 11 games twice. A win today would improve the Tigers to 5-4 in ACC road games.
Yeah, and it'd guarantee them at least 500 away from home, which is where you want to start with.
Oh, Burns has the offensive board. Back up, not in. Gant had it. Loose ball still. Morcell comes up with it. Rejected, but a foul.
Wow.
Big block from Hunter.
That was great reaction for him, and Morcell gets this because he attacks the rim.
Goodness.
Well, that was just two guys meeting right at the top of the mountain.
Two little guys meeting at the top.
Yeah, right.
6'3" versus 6'3.5". Yeah, Chase Hunter's listed at 6'3.5".
You know, right now, if you're NC State, you can't look at the score per se. You got to take this game in 4-minute increments at this point.
If you can't get a stop, does it matter?
No, and you just try to win each of those battles and make this sort of manageable in the last 4 minutes of the game.
8 points now for Casey Morcell. Full court pressure. Gant to the head of the zone press. And Clemson gets it across with 21 of the timer. Beadle, Hunter, Tyson, Galloway, and Shefflin.
Three guards out there with this pressure to help break that.
Morcell bumps Shefflin. Number 1 on Casey.
Good thing, though, it's only a 13 foul, and for NC State, they're in the bonus right now, so they're going to be shooting free throws for the rest of this half.
That's true. Looking back door. Hunter lost it. Recovered. We'll take some more time off the clock.
There was nobody there on that layup.
P.J. Hall standing up on the Tigers bench as Hunter missed the three. Another offensive rebound for Shefflin.
And you heard Brad Brownell say, bring it out, and they want to do some clock management at this point.
Beadle slithers through the crowd, lost it just like Hunter did, and this time it's NC State basketball.
2 layup opportunities that they let go by, so an opportunity to get something missed there for NC State. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Brad Brownell's Tigers earned their 20th win of the year on Wednesday. 3rd time in the past 6 years with 20 wins for Clemson men's basketball.
Beadle out there for defensive purposes to match up against Morcell.
Yeah, he's quick. So is this guy, Jarkel Joyner.
But you know what? They're doing a good job keeping them in front. Smith, there's no driving lane.
NC State needs some more of that.
Huge shot. His body language changed immediately.
When the ball went in. Ooh. Foul called as the pass was intercepted. Kevin Keats disapproves.
I think it's going to be his 4th foul.
4 on Smith.
And that was right after he makes a big jump shot, and he's going to have to come out of the game. Here's the look. I mean, that was deep. He looked fired up after that play, and then he picks up his 4th foul.
They call this one on Ross. It's a 15 foul. Shot clock will go back to 30. I beg your pardon, they'll keep it at 22. No, they put it back to 30. 2 on Ross. Oh, if you're Kevin Keats, you know, that game up, I almost said the Carrier Dome, up at the JMA Wireless Dome was one that they felt like they had taken away from them. Obviously, the officiating is not the story of the day. The Clemson Tigers are, but any missed calls are frustrating, especially when you're trying to build a comeback and shots like that are going in for Hunter Tyson. Are you kidding me?
I said he's been the 3rd option in this game, but that's a pretty good option to lean back on, and that was a tough 3 under duress.
12.7 rebounds for Tyson. who comes to help, and Burns just sneaks by him for 2. DJ's 9 for 14, 19 points. Chase Hunter missed it, slam follow. P.J. Hall, another 20-point game for the junior from Spartanburg.
You know, NC State was looking at the driver. Nobody put a body on Hall.
Here we go again, and 2 hands on the back of DJ Burns. PJ picks up his third. DJ will shoot 1 and 1. PJ Hall, though, his 10th 20-point game of the season in style in front of a capacity crowd on the road. Our Coyote Tractor turning point, the outside shooting from the Clemson Tigers. Mike, they are 10 for 17 from deep.
Yeah, and it was 8 of 14 first half, 2 of 3 second half, so they picked right up there. And the thing is, you know, a team, if you're heavy, they're half their field goal attempts are threes. Normally not getting to the line, but they're 13 of 15 at the free throw line as well. So just balance all over the place for this team's offense.
4 different Tigers have multiple threes in the game. Galloway with 4, 2 apiece for Hunter, Tyson, and Hall. The 9th time this season in 29 games that Clemson's made at least 10 threes. Their season high is 14. They hit 14 against Towson in a big win over a strong CAA team in December. And they had 14 threes on Wednesday night against the Orange.
And it's been the 4 guys who basically have all their points in Hunter and Tyson, Galloway, and P.J. Hall. The rest of the team's got 8 points.
Burns missed the front end of a 1 and 1. And Ernest Ross fouls Hunter Tyson in the rebound action. That's the 6th NC State team foul.
By just 2 empty free throws that they can ill afford at this point. You know, Burns not great at the free throw line at 64%. It's a little surprising with the good touch that he has on his shot. But now it's got to be an all-out blitz for NC State. Try to get some turnovers.
Well, if you call the jailbreak blitz and you don't get there, you can give up some open layups. Here's Tyson. Missed the 3. Burns the block out on Shefflin. Bravion Smith on the bench with 4 fouls, which means Jarkel Joyner has the offensive car keys.
And you can really lock in on him, which that means, you know, they play off of each other really well. But, you know, with Smith out of the game, you can focus on Joyner.
Shefflin straight away.
If he made that one,
just call a game right there.
He was 4 of 19 on the year going in.
Burns now with 21. His 3rd 20-point game of the season, all in ACC play. Galloway to the basket, he missed it.
Wow. His easiest shot all afternoon.
Great point. Too easy.
And it's still way early for this Clemson team to go into their victory trot.
Good dig down defense there from Chase Hunter. Numbers for Clemson. All the way goes Dylan Hunter.
They're playing NC State basketball here. They're breaking that pressure, and then instead of just being satisfied with that, they're attacking the rim.
Into the 4th quarter of this basketball game.
Even these possessions where, you know, Burns right there missed the shot. It's taking a lot of time off the clock, you know, throwing the ball into him. And
all alone, Ian Shefflin. Timeout State. Kevin Keats may not want to watch the rest of this game. I'm not sure anybody, anywhere, saw this coming. It's time for The Drive, presented by Defender. Full court pressure for NC State, leading to some breakout opportunities for the Tigers.
And I like that, Evan. You know, just be aggressive in attacking the rim. We talked about not settling for just breaking the front part of it. It's been wide open on the other side of it. Put a signature on this game.
Clemson won by 14 over NC State on December 30th. They're up by 28 right now. Smith back in the game with 4 fouls. Because what are you saving him for?
Yep. No, it's all hands on deck.
Joyner in and out. Morcell tracks the rebound. Darkel's now 3 of 13. Excuse me, he's 3 of 11. Smith's 3 of 13. There's the 8th NC State turnover.
Yeah, when you hold that backcourt to 6 of 24 combined, you're going to win a lot of games against North Carolina State.
It goes in for Hunter, putting him in double figures, the 4th Tiger of the day in double digits, as the lead grows to 30 for the first time.
Well, and you know, Smith had to get out of the way. There were people bottled up inside. There was no help behind.
Mike, this is the only ACC game in the noon window today. We thought we'd have a thrilling battle down to the wire between two teams battling for that 4th place position, which is so key. And it has been all Tigers from the start. They led 10-3, 21-9, 34-13, 79-49. Ooh, Shefflin thought he had all ball. Instead, Joyner will get to the line. Number 3 on Shefflin. 8:48 to play, and we encourage you to stick around for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer. It is coming up in just a bit here in the second half.
You know, a lot of times on the road, too, you know, a team will get out to a great start. Clemson really was warmed up, exploded out of the gate, and you know, teams will take a standing 8 count and kind of fight back in, but Clemson really grabbed a hold of this game, and they've never let go.
Yeah, I'm with you. I certainly felt through the middle latter portions of the first half that we would see a counterpunch from NC State.
Yep.
They'd have a 6-0, 9-0, 12-0 run at some point to get back into the game, and the question would be, could they get over the hump? But with 9 minutes to go, I don't really feel that coming.
Especially, you know, with Joyner, with back-to-back 29-point games for him, you know, as explosive as this team can be. And
how many friendly bounces have they got?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this Clemson team is a tough one to press, too. They take really good care of the basketball. They got good ball handlers out on the floor.
One of the reasons they'll be dangerous, both in Greensboro and in the Big Dance, if they can get there.
And they've expanded their game, their lead, with Hall on the sideline. You know, he's been their second best scorer in this game and has not been a part of this 30-point lead.
Clemson was number 76 in the net rankings coming into today. 3-3 versus Quad 1, but the bad losses are what really stings the Tigers' resume. Now you look at NC State, they're 36th in the net. They're 3-4 against Quad 1 teams, but the Wolfpack 15-0 against Quads 3-4, whereas Clemson's 14-4 against Quads 3-4. And look, the net has received plenty of deserved scrutiny. And it's not a perfect metric by any means. Listening to Steve Forbes vent about it after the game here on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
He's like, they don't pay me to win by 10. They pay me to win by 1.
Yeah, and also winning against the team can make you drop in the net depending on who you beat.
But it has been
a metric.
A metric, and generally, you win on the road, you go up. You win on the road against a good team by a big number, you go up. We'll see what this does for the Tigers today.
To me, I think the more metrics you bring in, the muddier it gets. And, you know, if you have basketball people making those decisions, you can get the 68 teams right. And, you know, this Clemson team is a tournament team. And this NC State team, this performance notwithstanding, is an NCAA tournament team.
And yet, the narrative exists that the ACC is not getting what it wants. The conference certainly has a bunch of talented teams, including these two. Clemson looking worthy today. Clemson in control, up 81-53, 7:23 to play. 20 in the first half for Brevin Galloway. He's pretty good in the second half, too.
Well, he's actually been quiet. Only 4 points in this half, but
pretty good.
20 in the first half. It's just, I mean, you talk about those numbers, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3, 8 of 8 from the line, scoring on all levels. Really has been able to get to the rim when he's wanted to. Just a terrific individual performance by him.
His 127th college game. Charleston, the BC, and now homecoming, the Anderson, South Carolina native, playing his final year for the Tigers. Stepped out of bounds. And that kind of day for Kevin Keats' club.
And not, you know, that being said, it was only the 9th turnover of the game, so not terrible from that standpoint. They're, you know, they have as many, they actually have more field goal attempts than Clemson does in this game. And now you'll see, like that time, you know, Galloway could have been aggressive and they could have attacked the rim, but they're going to try to burn some clock at this point.
Shefflin to Dylan Hunter. Hard foul from Greg Gant, but a clean, common foul. And 2 free throws coming for Hunter.
And that's what Shefflin brings to the floor. When they get the ball to him in the middle, he makes great decisions. I mean, Evan, he's almost got a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, and that's good for your point guard.
Yeah.
To have a frontline player have that is fabulous.
They're going to take a look here.
See if there was a, you know, if it's going to rise to a flagrant 1. That's just frustration. Coming out, just you see everybody converged in the middle. Gant has a lot of room to make up. If anything, it was the first. It was the left arm that kind of came through. It hit in the head. His right arm really didn't hit anything.
You know, I just, you know, don't fully get it anymore, because sometimes that's a flagrant foul, sometimes it's not.
Well, and this game got chippy early, and you know, Kevin Keats getting hit with that technical, and he was more upset after that call was made.
Take a look at our Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina upcoming schedule, especially if they don't show any fight in the final 7 minutes today, or not enough fight to get back in the game. This is a huge
well,
one.
They really hammered Duke here,
yep.
You know, for a great win that turned their season around.
It'll be different at Cameron.
Well, and yeah, and maybe too, the Jack Clark gets some extra time to get healthy before the ACC tournament.
After Tuesday, obviously the Wolfpack will have 7, 8, 9 days off, depending on where they fall. Clemson at Virginia on Tuesday. And then Notre Dame, who's in Winston-Salem today, hosts the Tigers, or I should say the Tigers host them on March 4th.
Yeah, and they did upgrade that foul to a flagrant 1. And that's just pure frustration by Greg Gant.
Kevin Keats in disbelief. Said he's asking a question. And a frustrating day for Keats. I'm with you, Kevin. I'm with you on this particular call. This call's not going to be the difference in the game. Situations like this, I think back to well, there's free chicken on the line. Hang on. They got bacon in Blacksburg earlier this week. Will there be chicken in Raleigh? No. Sorry, folks. Pay for your chicken.
Nothing going well for the home crowd this afternoon. But wow, 82 points on the road with 7 minutes to go.
Clemson shooting 62% from the floor. They're 10 of 19 from 3.
And now you have both Tyson and Paul out of the ball game at this point.
Good defense by Ernest Ross. Ross the block. Joyner out of bounds off Shefflin. Wolfpack ball, 6:41 to play. NC State second in the league in block shots, despite not having anyone on the top 15 in that list.
Yeah, and they've got guys up and down the roster.
It's our CPI security protecting the paint.
Yeah, Ross he's got some good length and he's got some blocks on the year. Juana is a guy who's going to block some shots. Gant. TJ Burns not a huge shot blocker, but gets one every now and then.
Yep. Almost one a game. Smith is a very streaky player. That's not breaking news. 27 down with 6:41 to go is a tough ask, but maybe Smith can get hot and make this interesting. Who knows?
Just playing with those 4 personal fouls.
Galloway picked up his 3rd on that defensive possession. R.J. Godfrey spins into the chest of Burns. Shefflin gets the loose ball. Shot clock winding down. It's at 3. Chase Hunter, veteran leadership, realizes tip Shefflin, no. Tip again, no. Loose ball controlled by Joyner. Numbers for the Pack. Morcell, 3.
That is one of the few rushes up the floor that NC State has had in this game and knocked down a 3. You know, their issue too is Kevin Keith doesn't have a lot of timeouts left in the bag to stop action going down the stretch.
Only 1 timeout remaining for the Wolfpack. Burns just picked up his 3rd foul. Here come the 19th and 20th free throw attempts of the game for Clemson. Tyson back in. The most points allowed by NC State all season. Galloway now at 26. Shefflin goes down. Good no call. And a flop warning has been assessed, and this will be one free throw.
Yeah, it'll be technical, and I think right now, the last few calls, they haven't called Burns for an offensive foul.
That's a tweener right there.
Yeah, that was close.
I don't know if it's a charge, but I don't know if it's a flop.
Well, and I'll say too, against PJ Hall or a starter, there might be a different whistle. I think it was probably a good no whistle right there.
Shefflin's like, I've been a starter for the last couple months. Coming on strong. 84-61. As close as it has been in quite a while. Dribbling violation called on Hunter.
A little bit of lapse of concentration by Clemson in the last minute. Only a ninth turnover, but a dead ball turnover, so NC State can't capitalize immediately.
And look, let's not kid ourselves. They like to say that margin of victory doesn't matter, but a 30-point win
on the road
looks a whole lot different than a 12, 13-point win.
Well, against the tournament team as well.
Creeping closer. 23 for DJ. Chase Hunter rushed it, missed it, followed by Godfrey, and that's a killer for NC State. He missed the layup, and you let Godfrey sneak in for the slam.
When you're on a team shooting 56% against you and you're giving up second chance opportunities, that puts a lot of pressure on things. Again, everybody, they just locked in, and you see 4 white jerseys standing around the rim, and he beat everybody off the floor.
Shefflin just picked up his 4th. Burns back to the line where he's actually struggled today. He's now 1 for 5. Godfrey has been solid off the bench. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 17 minutes.
Yeah, Burns, and despite the free throw issues, he's been the one bright spot offensively for this team. They've given him a lot of touches inside, but he's responded. I think, with NC State, I mean, they can suffer through one of their backcourt having an off night, but they can't have both of them off.
That's a good point. Hunter finds the range there. He's got 13 now to go along with Tyson's 12, Hall's 20, and Galloway's 26. Corner 3, good. Timeout taken by Kevin Keats. It'll be his final timeout. Jarkel Joyner now with 16 points. 21-point game, 4:11 to play.
Elle's parents at the airport. They flew in with us, and Tom Wormy and I got a chance to visit with them and saw them after the game, and they were in a very, very good frame of mind.
I would imagine. Tom Wormy and Brian Oliver courtside in Atlanta for the call when we're finished here in Raleigh.
I got to do one game on BO's turf this year down in Georgia Tech. He owns their broadcasts.
Shefflin inside for 2. Speaking of parents of ACC players, how about Ralph Kitley's reaction to his daughter Liz's buzzer beater at Carmichael the other night to give Virginia Tech a thrilling win? That was one proud papa. Wild finish to the women's basketball schedule coming down the stretch as well. The regular season finales are tomorrow.
You get through that regular season, all the teams they've had ranked in the top 25 this year all year long.
Duke UNC at Cameron at noon tomorrow on your regional sports networks. Duke going for a regular season title. Galloway bumps Ross. Every time there's been kind of an ounce of uplifting optimism today for NC State, it's been squashed quickly. Well, here they're within 21, now it's 25.
Even the more aggressive they've been on this full court pressure, Clemson really has had not very much trouble with it, and they've scored on the other end.
Tapped up and in by Ross. He's got 4. 92-69. So what does this mean for Clemson? I mean, they've got Virginia and Notre Dame coming up. They're going to be 21-8, 13-5 in the league. Remember, last year, Notre Dame went 15-5 in the league. Still had to go to Dayton for the play-in game.
Yeah, and I think Clemson's a tournament team. Obviously, that doesn't look good on the resume, losing to Louisville. However, if they can back this game up with a win of Virginia, that will be massive for them.
Sure would. Ernest Ross just picked up his 5th.
I think it's going to be important, though, for them. If you're Clemson, if you take care of business and you get in and get the double bye, not to lose that game on Thursday. I think you get a win there, you get into the semifinals, you're in really, really good shape.
I mean, it's pretty simple when you put it like that. You just keep winning.
Yeah, and that's the way I look at most things. I mean, look at Miami. All right, you go through all these gymnastics, and you say, Miami's going, all right, we'll win out, and let's just take care of business. Give us the #1 seed, and Greensboro, here we come.
And if Miami does get that #1 seed, I think they go into Greensboro as the favorite, but not an overwhelming favorite by any means. It's a wide-open tournament.
Yeah, and a lot of teams have short benches, Miami being one of them, so the double bye really helps them. Cut it down to 3 games in 3 days. I've seen over the years, at least one team on that Thursday double bye gets beaten.
Yeah.
And it's not usually by a team from Tuesday, but it's a team from Wednesday that's had one game under their belt. You're talking about the perception, I think, right or wrongly, of the league in general. When Duke and Carolina are perceived to be having a down year, it affects the whole conference.
Sure does.
It affects how the rest of the country looks at this conference.
Rion pass gets a bucket. And look, there's reasons for the perception. The bottom of the league being ranked where they are. But I think the top of the league, I mean, if you just take the top 6, 7, 8 teams, they're all teams that could play in the second weekend of the big dance.
Yep, no question about it.
Oh, yeah.
And even, I don't know there's a coach in the league that wants to play BC at this point.
Right.
The way that since Quentin Post has come back, the way that they're playing.
L.J. Thomas trying to get around Shefflin, lost his footing, turned it over. Clemson ball. 66 seconds to play. Chase Graham gets a minute of action on senior day for NC State. Unfortunately, he's played 35 games in his career. The Wolfpack are 33-2 when he usually plays in mop-up time. It's going to be 33-3 after today. See if he can get a bucket. He's got 19 points in his career. What a performance today from the Clemson Tigers. From the opening tip, L.J. Thomas not looking for the walk-on, takes it himself, and yikes. Gant hard landing on his tailbone after the missed follow dunk after the whistle.
You touched on it earlier. I was right with you. I said, boy, this is going to be a really, really great game, and probably decided in the last minute, but this was as good a road performance as I've seen this year.
That has to count for something. They got a trip to Charlottesville on Tuesday.
If they can go up to Charlottesville and put up 95 points, then I'll really be impressed.
It could be a heck of a that would be historic.
That would be eye-opening.
In the Tony Bennett era. They get to 68, that would be something that doesn't happen in Charlottesville too often. In fact, I don't think anyone scored 60 at JPJ in regulation in a long time. Who you got tonight in Chapel Hill, the heels of the Cavs?
Well, it's going to come down, I think, to shooting, and it's going to come down to the backcourt with Davis and Love.
Middlebrooks. A half-hearted exclamation point to close it out. What an impressive performance from the Clemson Tigers. Graham with a chance. Nope. Clemson comes to PNC Arena and destroys NC State 96-71. And it didn't feel that close.
No, and for Brad Brownell, I mean, if you could have mapped out a game, you couldn't have drawn it up any better than this. I mean, I touched on this before. The balance that they've had offensively in this game, shooting the ball well from the floor, great three-point shooting. They got to the free throw line, almost 80% there. Didn't turn the ball over against the press, able to get out and score there. And then, from the three-point line, Evan, 10 of 19. That's going to win a lot of games in this conference.
Their 9th time this year with double-digit threes. They did it on Wednesday, made 14 against Syracuse. But that's a different thing against the zone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In that one you expect it. And, Hunter Tyson got really good looks in that game. He was the third option in this game, but against a very good man-to-man defensive team, the drive was there for Clemson, everything working for them.
It's been a season of firsts for the Clemson Tigers. They've got 13 ACC wins for the first time in program history. They had never had more than 11 before this year. They'll go for number 14 on Tuesday. And look, they're in pretty good shape right now for that double bye, but the game against Virginia looms mighty large.
And they did beat Duke, so, you know, a good win there. But, you know, if you're a coach, you can't look and say, all right, if this happens, if that happens, then we do this. You know, just play the team in front of you and go out and win the game.
And I was chatting with the Clemson radio legends, Tim Burray, Don Munson, before the game. You know, I said, how does last Saturday happen? That's what we do.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you look so good on Wednesday. They said that's what we do. They are not a smooth team typically under Brad Brownell. They have high highs and low lows. If they can avoid the letdown after this, that could be the story of the season.
Well, and if you look at it, again, who gets hot at the right time, tournament time this last week building up, Clemson has had 2 terrific back-to-back performances here. Let's see if they can build on that finishing out.
Disappointing senior day at NC State as they allow the Tigers to shoot 60% overall and win it by 25, most points they've allowed all year long. Career high 28 for Brevin Galloway. Mike Jaminski, it is always a pleasure being by your side. Thanks so much.
Enjoyed it, Evan. Really, really terrific working with you.
For our producer, Rob Reichley, our director, Mike Miller, and our entire ACC crew, for the legend Mike Jaminski, Evan Lepler saying so long from PNC Arena. Final score, Clemson 96, NC State 71. Louisville, Georgia Tech coming up from Atlanta. Tom Wormy, Brian Oliver, they're coming up next.